Okay, this is Kenneth 14621, and this is a little bit of a variation of my sausage and rice dish, but it's keto friendly. Okay, so I have chopped onions. You want to and chopped bell peppers, but you want to chop these yourself. I was just being lazy because you want them to be in a little bit bigger chunks, you know, especially the bell peppers. Okay, and then I've got jalapenos, tomatoes, mushrooms, and paste picante. Okay, and I'm cutting up the tomatoes, not too small, but into nice little chunks like that. And I'm cutting them in slices about that thick, so pretty thick, as you can see. And then, of course, dicing them. And I've got 2 packs of sausage as well that I've already cut up and put in here. All right, okay. Okay, little hint here for when you're cutting up the jalapenos. Okay, so. And for when you're cutting the stuff up, so the ends of the tomatoes I left out, so you only get the juicy middle. And the jalapenos, so here's a jalapeno. What you want to do is cut it in half long ways, and then you want to cut it in half again long ways before you chop it up. So let me show you. Hold on. So I cut it in half long ways. So now I'm going to lay it face up. And I'm going to cut it again. I'm leaving the seeds and everything in here. If you don't want this to be that spicy, don't leave the seed. I mean, you know, don't use jalapenos because it's going to be spicy. Just letting you know. Okay, so there we go. Now I've sliced it in 2. And I'm dicing it into small minced pieces. That one's kind of big, but that's just a big piece. But so the flavor will spread all over. Okay, this is a variation of my sausage and rice dish. Okay, so I have jalapenos, bell peppers. I had 3 of these, and I had 2 of these, and onions, and of course mushrooms. And I've used 1 batch of mushrooms. I'm not going to wind up using all that and that. So, and then I've got sausage. I've got 2 packs of these sausages, and I've cut those up into chunks. I've cut up the jalapenos. I've cut up 2 tomatoes. And see, I accidentally put the jalapenos in there, but you want to leave the tomatoes separate. I think I'm going to put those in there because the tomatoes cook faster, okay? But so I've cut everything up, and the jalapenos, when you cut them up, you want to cut them up fine, very fine, and leave all the seeds and stuff in there like I did. If you don't want the dish being too hot, you might want to leave the jalapenos out. But the jalapenos, you want to cut them long ways first in half. And then lay them face up, and then cut them again in half, and then start to dice them. It's the best way to deal with them. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put everything in a big bowl like this. It's eventually going to go in that bowl, but you want a separate bowl for the sausage so that you can just add it in and get the right consistency. But 2 full lengths seems to be enough. As you can see here, we've got, you know, a good consistency of sausage in there. And you can add more vegetables or sausage as you like. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to start to sprinkle the seasoning in on top of the vegetables and the sausage before I cook it. And I'm using chupacabra seasoning. It's just Cajun seasoning. I'm just using some kind of spicy Cajun seasoning. Okay? Okay, so I'll hit you back when I'm done with that. There we go. I've added the seasoning in here with the sausage and bell peppers and onions, and I've stirred it up. I added 1 thick layer on the top, stirred it, another thick layer, stirred it, and then another medium layer and stirred it. I mean, whatever. Just as long as you could see, you could start to see just a few little specks of seasoning here and there on everything as you stir it. And then, of course, I've got my tomatoes that I'm going to put in last. I accidentally put the jalapenos with them, but you want to put those in here so it has the juice. And then I'm going to add a little paste picante. So I'm just going to add a little bit now, and I can add a little bit more later. Just a little bit, see? And then I'm going to stir it. Look at the consistency. Paste picante is going to make it good, son. Okay, so I'm going to stir it a little bit. It's a little juicy, but you can see it getting juicier as you add the paste picante. So I'm going to add a little bit more, and you're going to start to smell it. You're going to start to smell this wonderful aroma. And now I'm just going to add a little bit more here. That's good. That's good. Okay, so that's going to be it for now. Okay, so now the next part I'm going to be cooking it. Oh, and I meant to turn this on low heat, but I've got olive oil in the pan. I just turned it on a second ago. A little bit of olive oil, and I could use a bigger pan, but we don't really have a bigger pan that has a lid for it. So I'm just going to cook it a little bit at a time, and I'm going to start to throw it in this bowl here when I'm done. Or actually, that big bowl. I'm going to put those in the small bowl, but and you want to cook it all together so all the juices and flavors get marinated together. Alright, so next, alright, put a little bit in there, and I'm going to put the lid on it for a second and just let it heat up. And then I'm going to start dumping it into this big pot right here. I'm going to keep it right here next to the stove. You want to cook this on low heat. Just a little hint here when you're cooking this. I've got the pan over it, but what I do is you want to cook it till you start seeing a little bit of, you're going to add just a hint of olive oil with each batch till you see a hint of darkness. Because the onions and stuff start turning just a little bit dark when they start getting cooked. And you want to pay attention to the mushrooms too. Cook it till it gets a hint of dark and then taste the mushroom. If the mushroom's not cooked, cook it just a little while longer, but you want to look for the darkness. That means it's almost ready. Okay, so there we go. I'm done cooking. As you can see, I've cooked all of that. I cooked all the tomatoes and jalapenos in there. I wound up putting 4 diced jalapenos in there. I cooked them first, so it's got a little kick to it. You don't have to put that many. You can put 2 or 3, or you can not use any at all. But so there you go. And you can make a sandwich with some keto bread, which is what I plan on doing. It's not as good as just eating it straight, but or you could just eat it straight. I mean, you don't have to eat that much. I mean, this is not. If you're looking to get stuffed, you might want to try the bread. But if you're just looking for a little dish, maybe a plate or two, or maybe just a little plate full with some sides and stuff, there it is right there. And when you cook this stuff, you are going to smell a heavenly aroma. I mean, you're going to be able to tell this is going to be some good stuff when you're cooking it. So, paste picante, you can add more or less. You could add quite a bit more paste picante, actually. But let me show you something. You see all that juice in there? That's from that paste picante. Look at that. That juice. That's why you want to use the paste picante. Before I'd eaten some of it, there was like over an inch of juice in the bottom of that. The more you use, the more juice, and it doesn't hurt the flavor. So there you go. There's a nice little keto-friendly southwestern dish. And when I do the keto sandwiches with this, it's 2 slices, because this keto bread is in small slices, but it's good. I mean, and you got your vegetables in there and your jalapenos and your fresh tomatoes, so that'll give you a few vegetables for a little bit of health. But there you go, folks. And the season I was using is Chupacabra Cajun seasoning. So you don't have to. You can use any type of Cajun seasoning you want. I had plain sausage. You can use any type of sausage. So there you go. Thank you very much. Okay, so quick little update here. I tried it with the keto bread. It wasn't any good. Keto bread just soaks up too much of the flavor. So if you're serving this dish or something, just serve it by itself without the bread, maybe some sides, and it's excellent. Thank you very much. Bye.